Welcome to the Hobby Gremlin Craft Report Month 2 February Roundup. I did it. I'm on Month 2. My name is Hope. If you don't know me, I use they, them pronouns, and this is my little project trying to get me to make more stuff and also document the stuff that I make. This is Stanley. He's here, and this is Mitski, who just came to join. Mitski. He does not like being picked up very much, but he's a big boy. So, the first thing to report is that my idea is proving to be correct. I am making lots more stuff because of this project. I feel encouraged. I'm like, okay, if I finish this, you know, I'm gonna get to show it off, and I'm gonna be able to get that hit of satisfaction of knowing I did what I said I was gonna do. Yeah, so that's great. I've got some stuff to show, and I'm really proud of myself, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm feeling really optimistic. I have a lot of energy these days, partly because making stuff is invigorating, but also I think I just wrapped up the work project I've been working on for 5 years. And I'm on my lunch break right now. I just got onboarded to a new project this morning, and that just feels really exciting. So I think just in general, my life feels kind of nice and good right now, which is a bit of a change because it's been a bit of a slog for a while. So that's good, and I think that's partly affecting, you know, why I've been quite prolific. So I'm gonna stay there, baby. So yeah, let's start. The first thing I want to show is the first thing I finished, which I had not started when I made the January report. This is the Curio collar. It's a pattern by Lydia Morrow. It's basically a fluffy clown collar. I'm gonna put it on. I loved this thing. It was really fun to knit, and well, not fun, but it was like really simple to knit, mindless, and like the satisfaction to the work is really, it's a good ratio. I want to make these in multiple colors. I didn't follow the pattern exactly because, as it turns out, I did not have enough of my sort of speckled hand-dyed thicker yarn. So instead of having a longer ruffle made of the thicker yarn and a shorter lace ruffle, I have it inverse. I have the lace ruffle being longer and being on the bottom layer, and then the thicker ruffle is quite small and just kind of sits on top. So I think there's actually a lot of ways you could make this and like play around with those layers, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna make more. It's not super fitting to my outfit today, but it looks really good with some of my clothes, especially this sort of green linen-y type things I've been making these past couple of years. Yeah, super happy. It's really soft. This yarn is hand dyed, but the other yarn, this nice little mohair, is lichen and lace. No, yes, no, it's not. It is lily and pine. All these yarns with the this and that. It's lily and pine mohair in the color Egg Hunt. So I guess it's like an Eastery color, but when I saw it, I thought it was like a weird little moldy color. I like mold colors. So yeah, so I'm super happy with that, and I'm going to keep it on. It's nice and warm. So that's my first thing. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. The next thing was the crochet stuffed animal that I said I was going to start for my cousin's baby Zach. So she had her baby last year before the other babies that were born last year. So he really is top of the priority line, and I had originally made a little dinosaur, but because it was one of the first stuffed animals I had ever made, I was not super happy with it. It was like floppy, and also it was a quadruped, so you couldn't make cute clothes for it. I never ended up sending it off or finishing it, and so I decided I was just going to start fresh this month. So I made this hippo. This little guy is from the same patterns book that I've been doing all of my other stuffed animals. It's Animal Friends of Pica-Pau. This one's from the third book. And obviously it has, I have to weave in some ends on this colorful little jacket. But other than that, it is completely done. And I have to pull off some cat fluff before I send it away. That's just what you get with my house. Yeah, but I'm really happy with it. So I had lost my bag of crochet, which I found. I'll talk about that later. So I ended up having to go buy a new crochet needle and new crochet yarn. I actually ended up getting a smaller crochet needle than what I've been using before. The book recommends 2.75 and I went down to 2.5, which isn't a huge change, but I think I was actually using a 3mm needle before, not a 2.75 millimeter needle. So I went down, you know, a non-insignificant size because I find the quality of this one, it's a lot tighter than the previous ones I've made. You don't get the gapping that I was seeing in like the neck regions, where you see the stuffing a little bit, which I wasn't super fond of. So I'm really happy with this. It feels really solid and sturdy. He's got little pants, he's got a heart on his t-shirt, and he's got a little jacket. The colors are kind of wacky. The colors are kind of all over the place, but you know, kids like colors. Kids like colors. So I'm going to finish this off and then mail it off. It really is full. I need like a secure box to put gift knits in so they don't get covered in cat hair. I'm going to put them here. Because over here, this cushion is full of cat hair. I can already see. So that's that. And then I did end up finding the missing crochet bag, thankfully. It was not at my house. It was at Simon's house. I was sure it was at my house, but it was just sitting on his couch. So I have it, and I can show what I was in the process of working on. I am no longer happy with these guys now that I've had the sort of experience of making the like better quality, tighter crochet. So I'm probably going to end up undoing these and starting over. But this is a little mouse. Ignore the nose. This is a little mouse from the same book, Animal Friends of Pika Pow. Obviously the nose got sewn on super crooked and that was going to be changed no matter what. But I think now it's just going to be completely redone because like the ears don't stay. One ear stays this way. I'm not super happy with it, and you can see that there is gapping in the neck, and it also just doesn't feel stuffed as firm. It's really not as nice when they're not stuffed as firm, but it's a really cute pattern. Got a little tail, got a little dress. The pattern also has a little shawl, but the shawl doesn't fit her. I think I messed up and grabbed the wrong needle when I knit this because this was knit over Christmas and I just packed my bag in a rush. So, but yeah, really cute pattern. And I think I'm just going to start over and do the same pattern, same colors, but with a better size hook and more stuffing. It is probably going to take me a little while because I find that I can't crochet too much without pain, because crochet is really new to me. I'm really tense. I hold my needle too tight. I'm not super comfortable. I have to look at my work, and it hurts after a while, so I have to switch. So I've been doing some crochet, and as soon as I start to feel it, I switch. I stop, or if I want to keep working, I'll work on a knitting project instead, because knitting, I've been knitting for like 17 years and I can do it with my eyes blindfolded, and I'm a super loose gauge knitter. I've never had problems with carpal tunnel or wrist pain for knitting, which is super lucky of me. But yeah, so I can't crochet nonstop like other people. I don't know how you see on TikTok sometimes that people are crocheting and they're like I understand how you do that with knitting. I don't understand how that happens with crochet. But so this one is for my friend Leia's baby, who also, you know, was born a little while ago now. I believe he is like getting to the 6-month mark. So you know, he's not going to remember that the stuffy wasn't there when he was 2 months old, you know, but I still want to get this done because I told her I would make it, and I was like, oh, send me your address. I'm going to send you a little box with like care supplies and a stuffy. And it's like, did I lie? Where is it? Where is it? Come on. I want to, you know, I want to follow through on the things I said I would do. Especially since she's not in Montreal, so I can't really support her in ways that I could support other friends who are in the city. So there's that. And then the other thing I had in this bag was, this is nothing, but this was going to be a bat. Again, from Animal Friends of Pica-Pau. One day I'll branch out, but I really like, it's a really good quality book. Good pictures, well written, super easy to follow, and I like that all the stuffies are consistent, you know, they're a similar size. They have, I feel like the clothes are almost interchangeable as well, so this is also going to get redone with the smaller size needle, but that is for a baby who is not even born yet, so no rush on that. Hi big baby. Hello. Hey mister. So that's my crochet, and I actually also applied to be a tester for a crochet, like a spiral sweater. I don't remember the name of the designer off the top of my head, but that would be fun to do. And because I'm above average size, I'm like a 2XL in most clothes, and I generally like to wear things oversized, especially tops and sweaters. I'm always in the larger half of sizes, so I feel like often people are looking for test knitters on the higher size range, so yeah, maybe we'll see if I do that. I've never done a test knit before, or a test crochet, you know, and I definitely don't want to do too many of them because I don't like committing myself to stuff and then feeling like I have to do stuff, but this pattern is really cool. So if I don't do the test knit, I'll definitely crochet it when the pattern comes out. So that's crochet. In terms of knitting work in progresses, I have one object, but it's quite a big object. So I have been, in general, well, I'll pause on that for a second. One of the things I want to do with this project as well is keep track of the costs of all of my different hobbies. And as you might know, knitting can get quite expensive, especially if you're trying to buy good quality yarn, or, you know, God forbid, indie dyed yarn. If you're doing sweaters, large garments, which is what I'm mostly interested in. And then if you're a plus size person, which I am, your yarn costs go up even more because it's sometimes almost double the amount of yarn a small size would be making. It gets expensive. I have a lot of yarn in my stash that is yarn from other people's stashes, donated yarn, traded yarn, vintage stuff, a lot of stuff from like grandma's. But I don't have a lot of sweater quantity yarns unless I want to make some scrappy projects, which I don't always want to make scrappy projects, and the yarn in my stash tends to skew fairly like neutral and dark, and I like bright colors, and I want to actively bring more bright colors into my closet. So I was trying to think of how I could get yarn that is for me like feels sustainable, because I am mostly vegan. I use wool. I will eat eggs on occasion, so it's not a hard and fast rule, but I am very much interested in sourcing wool from places that I feel good about, right? I think it's a really great material. No judgment on people who use acrylic yarn, but I really am not interested in using acrylic for myself. I need my clothes to breathe and be warm, but also cooling, you know, the magic of wool. Anyways, I realized that I could go on Facebook Marketplace, and people are selling yarn, especially like destashing from grandmas, on Facebook Marketplace, and I found a lady who had a bunch of yarn listed, and I ended up buying from her this pack, which is, I've already used up half of it. This was 9 skeins of this super bright Cascade 220 non-superwash. It's just, you know, it's a really standard good quality workhorse yarn. It's worsted weight, you know, nothing fancy. I don't really know much about Cascade 220 in terms of where they source their yarn, but because it was secondhand vintage yarn, you know, it's just gonna sit in an attic otherwise. So I think buying things secondhand is honestly the most sustainable way you can do things. So I'm super happy with that, and I'm gonna be trolling Facebook Marketplace for more nice, interesting yarn in the future. In terms of cost, I paid $70 for 9 skeins of yarn, which I could not quite make 2 sweaters out of, but it's a lot. I could have made like a long like duster cardigan out of all this yarn. It breaks down to about $7.50 Canadian a skein, which is quite good, especially considering, you know, if you were to, you can buy this yarn at a yarn store, and you'd be paying tax and everything on it, so it would be a lot more than that, probably at least double. And yeah, I've got a lot of it, and I started working on it pretty quickly. Get back in there. Okay. It took me a while to decide, well, not a while, but it felt like a long time, but it was like over the course of only a few days, to decide what pattern I wanted to make with it. And then I got cooking. And as I said, I am a very fast knitter when I am focused and when I am excited about a project. And I love yellow. I went through a phase where right now I'm in a green phase, as you can see, but I went through a yellow phase a couple of years ago, and like all of my stuff was this color, and I still love this color. So this is the Cove pullover sweater. I believe the designer's name is Knit Pearl Girl. I will double check that though. Bye, Mitski. No, he's going to fight Rosie. Yeah, I've knit this over the course of maybe a week. I think actually less than that. I don't know. And I'm really enjoying it. I just started the hem. I had a big meeting today where I was mostly just listening and asking questions, so I did a lot of knitting during that. And me and Simon started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated one. I've never watched it, so I've been knitting during that as well. I will say the downside of getting back into knitting is that any moment that you could have been knitting but that you're not knitting feels wasted, which I don't like. I have the like hyper optimization brainworm where if I can be doing 2 things at once, I want to be doing 2 things at once, and I sometimes forget how to just chill out and rest. So for example, I will like, instead of just reading a book, I'll be like, but instead of reading a book, I could knit and listen to an audiobook at the same time, which is honestly great. I love doing that, but also it's totally fine to just read a book and not also be knitting at the same time. Or like if, God forbid, I'm in a car drive and I've forgotten my knitting, it's fine. You know, but my brain's like, I wish I had my knitting. So I don't love that. That's always been something I've struggled with, you know. I get really into things and then I like can be intense about them. But one thing I'm trying to do these days is slow down and fix mistakes when I notice them and not worry about like, you know, time lost. It's totally fine. So I actually ended up redoing the increase panels a couple of times because I was trying out different types of increases. I wasn't satisfied with the one I was using initially because there was like one side was more of an obvious gap than the other side. I also redid this sort of section where you have the nice little Look, can you see it? So there's sort of like a decrease and an increase here, and I wanted it to be like really nice and clean. Honestly, I'm still not super happy with this. These, I don't know if you can see where the boop, boop, boop. It's quite obvious where those decreases are, but yeah, I had to stop at some point. I wanted to keep going. Versus, yeah, if you want to see the comparison, the other section, the same on this side, it's a lot cleaner, right? So sometimes the decrease on the left versus the right, I still haven't found, there's fluff on this. I still haven't found my sort of holy grail of increases and decreases that match exactly left to right, but I'm working on it. Yeah, so that's that. I'm doing the hem now. I have a community meeting tonight. The Verdun Tenants Union is meeting for the first time, which I'm excited about. So I'm gonna bring that, and maybe I'll finish the hem and get to work on the sleeves. So that's that. Put it over here. That's pretty much all I have. The only other things I wanted to show are other materials that I got and my plans for them. Move this over here. Very crunkly sound. That's a good crunchy sound. So I bought some fabric actually in January, but I had forgotten about it, and I finally got it. So I will show that. It is a bit of remnant fabric. For those of you who don't know, remnant is sort of like the ends of the rolls. So they sell them at a discounted price. Most of my fabric I've been buying from Blackbird Fabrics, which is a small fabric shop on the west coast of Canada, in Vancouver, I believe. It can get kind of pricey. When I got into sewing during the pandemic, I was kind of just like, and like spending lots of money on all kinds of fabric. Now I'm like, chill out. You have a lot. We have fabric at home. Stop buying fabric. Stop it. But this was a remnant that I had a specific need for. I find that I don't have many tops that I can wear that are sort of like more going out tops. I have mostly dresses. Most of my clothing is dresses, and so when I get a pair of pants that I like, which is very rare, I struggle to find something to wear it with. And in this case specifically, I went through a phase where I was into, or I still am, but I bought mesh flare clown pants, and if I can find them, I'll put a picture up. They have like white, pink, and purple like Harlequin diamond patterns, and I love them, but I don't know what to wear on the top. And so I've been thinking of sort of some sort of like drapey cowl neck kind of, I don't know, you know. I just need some slutty little tops and some slinky little fabrics to wear with my slutty clown pants. So this is 1 meter. It is a polyester. I'm not usually a big polyester person because, again, like, I get sweaty and synthetic fabrics really don't breathe. But because the plan of this is to have it's going to be a fairly small thing, you know, my elbows, there's going to be space for my body to breathe. So it's not a problem, and just like the shine is beautiful. The shine is beautiful. So yeah, baby. I'm gonna make that, and honestly, I always forget how much 1 meter is. I'll definitely be able to make something else with this. Yeah. So, not sure when I'll be sewing that. I honestly don't feel like sewing right now. My sewing room, my office that has my sewing sort of table set up is pretty messy right now. I'm just not in the mood, but I have it for when the mood strikes. And then because it always feels bad to pay shipping for just one thing, I got other fabric as well. These are 2 just little basic cotton rib knits, also from Blackbird Fabrics, in the 2 best colors. I'm so into these colors right now. Maybe not quite this one, but this is my favorite green of the day, and it's quite popular, and I've really come around to purple in combination with green just in all areas of my life. I love it. So one of the things I've wanted to do for a long time is try making like underwear and tank tops and things like that. I've never really sewn with a stretchy knit fabric, and I will have to borrow a machine that has a zigzag stitch because my machine is just an antique singer that does one thing and one thing well, but it is not great for sewing stretchy fabrics. So I have those guys. Those are just gonna, hang out on my shelf until probably hot weather arrives and the mood strikes to stop knitting and do some sewing instead. And in terms of cost, I believe with shipping and everything, I paid like $45 for all of this, which is okay. And that's it. That's all I have to show. I did actually want to talk a tiny bit about what I want to do next. These are maybes. This is not a hard and fast commitment. But I really, really want to knit, hey baby, what's it called? One second. Okay. So I really want to knit a partner's pullover, which is another Lydia Morrow pattern, same designer as this. I mentioned this in the last one I did, but she's doing really cool work with negative ease garments, and I usually do positive ease garments, and I want to try that out, try that challenge. And it's got really cool like mix and match swiggly line patterns. If you look on Ravelry at the different projects that people have done, there's lots of different combinations, and I think it would be really suited for some fun color contrast situation. So that is another sweater, and I do for that, I think that's going to be my good job you did your taxes reward. When my tax return comes in, I'll buy some like not Facebook Marketplace yarn for that, probably from like a place that I don't normally feel like I can justify spending the money on, because it does feel good to support small fiber artists, but it can be prohibitively expensive. On that line, I've been looking into finding Canadian indie yarn dyers, because when I do buy yarn from indie dyers, I would love to just buy it from Canada. I'm so sick of packages arriving and it being like, you have to pay $40 more to get the thing that you already paid shipping for. I'm very mad at UPS, even though it's my own damn fault. So I've been poking around. I am fairly picky on colors, but I found two indie dyers that I really like that I'm going to be paying attention to. The first one is Camp Fiber Knits, or Camp Fiber Yarns. Can't remember. I'll put it up. They have just a lot of really cool colors, a lot of base options. So I might go with them in terms of buying yarn for the partner pullover pack. Probably them, because they have more bright colors. The other indie yarn dyer I found that I'm really excited about, I probably won't get yarn for this project, but I would love to buy yarn from them just in general, because so their name is Gremlin, and they're in New Brunswick, and they seem to just do greens and grays and brown greens and nasty little colors that you would find in a swamp, which makes sense because their name is Gremlin. I find like greens are really slept on. Greens are really underrated, especially like greens with a lot of depth. I have two sort of green modes. Either I'm dressed like an electric slime girl, or I'm dressed like a bog witch that has been rotting under a log. And this person's work really skews towards the bog witch. They have yarn names that are like sepulcher, which I love. It really sends me back to my World of Warcraft days. But I'm in love with the color quality of this person's work. They're just one little person, I believe. They don't have much in their shop. They're almost all sold out. But I believe they're gonna have a yarn update in March this month. So I'm gonna keep my eyes out, and I'm gonna try to maybe plan for a garment in the coming months that is using their super cool colors, because I love it. I love it. I've been looking for like mossy colors, mossy, swampy, moldy, slimy colors, and honestly there really isn't that much out there. So I'm happy with this discovery. So that's it for February. I did a lot of stuff. Oh, actually, well, it's kind of cheating because it's March. I'm filming this a couple of days into March because there was no good light, and then my battery died and blah blah blah. One thing that I've been doing this past week only is I've been baking a lot, which is exciting. I made banana bread. I love making banana bread. I can make it in like 8 minutes flat. And just the time, effort put into the result, it's so much better than anything I could buy at a store or even a bakery, frankly. I like my, not to toot my own horn, but my banana bread is amazing. Vegan banana bread. I'll put the recipe in the YouTube description, you know? There we go. It's my mom's banana bread recipe. So I've been baking a lot. I made cornbread, not that much, but like I have the baking bug. I feel like I have the baking bug. I made cornbread the next day, and then I actually started a sourdough starter, which frankly I have never successfully done before. But what I did different this time is I used bottled water, because I think my water is like got too much minerals or is too hard, something like that, where it never quite succeeds. It always gets kind of weird in like the not good way. So I've started a sourdough starter. So maybe the March craft report will say I've been doing sourdough bread as if it's 2020 again. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm definitely going to do some crochet work, and this will be finished by then. Absolutely. And then who knows? Who knows what else I'm going to be doing. So that's it. Thanks for listening to me. Bye.